Hi everybody, it's Lynn. So we're back today, and I know it's taken me forever to get back to this place, but we're going to talk about color again. Yay! I'm excited. So I know we left off, I don't even know how many weeks ago it was. I know we left off and we drew the color Melon. I know that's the color that we drew. And honestly, during my absence, I put stacks of fabric in here just at different times. So I feel like this is all going to be new to me because I haven't really, gone over this. But y'all know I just talk. I just talk to you about what I'm thinking at the time. So anyway, let's color out this color and see what it looks like and see what I pulled, that if it made any sense. So this is Melon. Oh, that's much more pink than I thought. What do you guys, that is pink. That's much more pink. I thought it was going to be more orangey red, but it is much more pink than I thought. I hope I pulled some good fabric. So this is Melon, M-L-O-N, and I don't know, is this week 6? Oh my goodness. I was gone for at least that many weeks. Week 6. Here we are, Melon. That is much more. Of course, you know what we've learned is the color that the Crayola looks darker than what it colors out. So yeah, I think this is more in the reddy pink kind of stuff. Maybe more like there, in between those two kind of thing. And I thought it was going to be more orangey. Who knew? So definitely more pinky. Definitely more pinky, which is a challenge for me because I think you guys have heard me say pink is not my favorite color. But look, a friend of mine just gave me this cup. So some of the medicine I'm on makes my mouth really dry. So I thought I better have a cup of water to talk to y'all. But yeah, look, that's kind of that pinky rose right there. That kind of looks like that melon color. So, yeah, okay. So I also thought it would be interesting, and I'm going to turn the overhead back on. I thought, well, I wonder when in history we've kind of seen this melon color. And I found it in the 80s, which I have to admit, when I was looking, although I guessed that this was what it was coming to, I just turned it, so it's a peach to rust. And I'm not sure that that's not right. Like, that looks like this peachy kind of color, but it is kind of pinky peach, maybe. It looks pink. It looks pink to me. But I will say, I struggle with pink because pink looks horrible on me. Like, if you put me in a pink shirt, I do look sick. So I just get real sallow or shallow looking. So I don't do well in pink. So I've never enjoyed the color because I don't enjoy wearing it. And it can't be just me. Like, when you put on clothes or you're attracted to clothes, I think that you're attracted to things that make you feel good and look good. So, like, when you put on those clothes that aren't your color or that, you don't like I don't wear blue very much. I wear blue rarely because it doesn't look great on me. So I just don't wear it that often. But I think that that's really common. I think that we are attracted to, like, what's in our wardrobe is things that we're attracted to. So I don't have a lot of pink quilts. And the one pink quilt I made, I purposely made a pink quilt. And I made it because I wanted to get over hating pink. And I don't mind it in small doses. It's just not my go-to favorite color in the world. It's a very popular color. And honestly, when you look at this, even though this says it's from the 1980s, that right there, that is a double pink that they've been doing since the 1800s. So that print you can see today being reprinted even 40 years later from the 1980s. So that's not a color that I'm really shocked about. And I would say that this color right here we've seen throughout history. So I think just because I kind of grew up in the 80s, that seems to be pretty logical to me. And of course, in the 80s, we had a lot of reproduction kind of stuff, so that's not shocking as well, kind of thing. So I think we would find that pink, although that's more pinky pink, in other eras as well. Oh, that's more red. This has got more orange in it. So if I do, like, I would say this is closer to coral, maybe. Maybe that's where we would kind of go with that, closer to coral kind of stuff. So pinky, although I think it's reading more pink on the screen than it is to me. Like there's more rusty kind of stuff. So I did pull these fabrics. We'll see how I did. As a choice of fabrics that could fall in that melon. Man, I'm pretty happy. That's pretty close. Those are pretty happy for us too. And this is just darker, I think, of that. So, like, to me, this is coral, and I don't hate coral like I hate pink. And I don't hate it. I don't hate it. It's just not something I'm attracted to. So, I don't buy a lot of it. I don't have a lot of it. So I did pull this quilt. I always lean the wrong way. I made this quilt for a fabric line that was coming out and for QT Fabrics. And this has been years ago. So you can't, if this line's still out, I would grab it because you can't get it. But this is a Mary Englebright panel, and I always like Mary Englebright's drawings and stuff like that. I think she's interesting. So it's a Mary Englebright panel, and it does kind of have that peachy pink in it, so that melon color. Although the border it's got more orange in it, I think, than the peachy pink. I think this. Wait, I'm talking to that. Oh, yeah, wait. Okay, I'm talking here so you can see that. But I was going to say, these pinks are, I think, more closely to our melon color for our challenge. So we'll keep these out, and we'll just pull some other stuff and look at it and see how they work against it. I don't know why I pulled this, but I think this teal, especially with the green in it, looks really good with this. Especially kind of that orange. Of course, this is more orange. Of course, Aquaman does have orange. I bought this to make a purse out of, and I still haven't finished the purse, but I have all the pieces cut out and sewn to the interfacing, so I do have it. But I do like these colors together with that. Like, I like the this really kind of tealy color. It looks good. You know, this is kind of the, I don't want to turn it over too much, but yeah, these kind of colors with it as well. I'll take a drink. So I like that as well. So go Aquaman, who's been in the news lately, I guess. Don't you love, the chocolate brown with that. I just really, and even this one has that chocolate brown with it. That chocolate brown looks really good with pink. And that peachy kind of melon color pink. Now, since I am attracted to this orangey kind of coral melon color and browns look good on me, I would wear something like that. Like this in a shirt with this as a skirt, that would look really good to me. Like, that would be attractive to me. So I like that together. So I love brown. All right. Now this is going to go back to those, you know, those tealy and the oranges. So I think we could use this really pretty, like you're getting that bright chartreuse, which I've been watching. Have you guys seen the home edit on Netflix. Like I've watched I've watched all of the second season or the first season, and I'm not totally through the second season, but really enjoy it. But she said she doesn't like chartreuse in anything, and I'm like, I think I kind of like chartreuse in a lot of things. So I was like, what? That's crazy. So anyway, it's a good show, and they put stuff, they organize things, and I watch it and I think, oh my gosh, I would love to be that organized. I'm not. I feel like those ladies have got a gift from God to organize, and I missed out on that gift. I don't have it. But I love this kind of chartreuse with it. That's really bright. Those are just fun colors. Now, that's hard to look at together. That's almost what Gerald Roy. I took a class when I was taking my certification for the quilt appraisal class. Gerald Roy is kind of the godfather of quilt appraisals. He's one of the ones that helped define the program for quilt appraisals with IQS, and he trained the first set of appraisers, and I think he really developed the certification program itself. So he would call this plastic because there's kind of a vibration between these two because they're so strong off each other. So if you are not a bright person, you will not want to make quilts that have that vibration. It's called plastic. That plastic vibration, which are really, really bright colors up against each other, that the colors vibrate a little. So that's not going to be your bag if you do not like bright colors. So this look right here would not make you happy. This would be more, more subtle kind of thing. Although that's not my favorite with that, I have to admit. I like these kind of more with it. So I like those. Those look good together. I know we're just playing with these same ones, but now y'all know I love a good... Now look, Tula, this is one of her newer lines. I don't know what it's called, but it had the parrots, and I just loved the parrots. I thought they were so pretty. But look, it's got this melon color with it, and it's got the teals, and it brings in that bright yellow, which I just love. So I think you could do like a really pretty green, like this olive green with that. Even though those aren't there, I think you could still do that in this pink. That just gives you a different look. I don't know, I would pull in more of that. I don't know, let's pull in some homespuns. Those are kind of interesting. I don't know that this works with it, but wow, I do like that with it. Does that not look, see, to me, this looks really 80s. That looks really 80s because we were wearing all those bright colors. This is more subtle. That's more subtle. Definitely with this. That looks good. Little cute little print with the orange and the green. That may be too much. Oh, but let's look at some blues with it though. Look at those blue and coral. Golly, that's sharp. I'm really attracted to this. Like that is just a sharp color combination. Brand new. These are new fabric lines too. This is one of the ones I think I just got from Fat Quarter kind of thing. Now here's a reproduction navy. Navy with the peach looks good. Melon with our melon looks good. When it said melon, it reminded me of cantaloupe. And to me, cantaloupe is and I don't know what you all call that in other countries. I know you don't call it cantaloupe. But cantaloupe in the U.S., cantaloupe is a melon that when you cut it open, it's an orange color. It's really kind of this color that we're talking about. And I think it's called something else. And when I was in Australia, I think Australia and New Zealand, when I got to go there, it was just they had different words for what I expected something to be called. And so it was a learning experience, and I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. I love doing stuff like that. So This navy, this is a true navy. It looks black on screen. It is not black. It is a true navy. But it's got a cream background. I don't hate that with it, though. That's interesting. And reproduction fabric. This is like reproduction from the 1800s, where you're looking at a brand new blue. But I just like I really like that together. That is just fun, isn't it? Don't you like that? I'm going to keep this. All right, let's get rid of these. We looked at those. I thought this was interesting. Like, if we get rid of the blues and pull this, like, deep, I mean, come on. Is that not just interesting? That purple. This is a red purple or red violet, which this is, to me, this color, and it's a solid. I can't believe I have it. But it's very cave friendly. Look at that. That, to me, is gorgeous. Now, it would be monochrome. That's not right. That's not right. Monotone. No, that's not right either. What would it be? Wait, I'm sorry. I have forgotten life. Yeah, no, it would be analogous. That's what I'm looking for. Analogous, sorry. Analogous. So it's the colors next to each other on the color wheel. So these would be close to each other on the color wheel because you're like purple, red, the melons. That's really beautiful. That would be a beautiful quilt. Especially if you like those purple and reds. Oh, see, I should have brought these in too with that. Yeah. I think your purples are going to go with this melon color. Look at that. That's beautiful. That melon color is just going to love being next to purple. It really does. This one I don't love as much, but these, like, yeah, definitely love those. Definitely love those. These are modern fabrics. This is Jen Kingwell, and I love her stuff. She just has so many beautiful little prints. I'm going to keep this one. Oh, look, so I'm coming back and I'm pulling in the teals and the greens again with the true green. This is going to look great with this. Yeah, I like that. Get rid of those. Now, I did pull some unique fabrics a while ago that I thought, well, let me go through this deck first. So I wanted to pull it with the true oranges. So look at it with oranges. So I'm going to get rid of those because these are kind of more of our melon stuff. This is more orange. But I did want to pull some like true kind of oranges with it. Right? It's going to live with oranges, definitely. And then this is, again, analogous. So you're going to go from, this is a great plaid. I just loved this plaid when I found it. So you're just going to go kind of all together. This pulls it all together. Look at that. It just pulls that in. If I had a bright yellow, I'd pull that in. Now this is a very old motor print. But look how it kind of lives in that, too. It's going to live with that as well. Now, what I think is really interesting about this motor print, let me move this away, is it's going to live with some, I think, I've been pulling in these black and whites and showing you the color with black and white and letting you see how black and white works. But this reminded me, this print specifically, and I apparently loved it. I think it's called Charismatic. It's really old. This print reminded me that there are a lot of stone and brown kind of colors that I think work as really attractive neutrals, right? Really attractive neutrals. And if you're not in love with white or gray and you're done looking at white and grays, because there's a lot. I think we've done that for a lot of years, and it's definitely got a great look. But if you're done looking at white and grays, I think the trend we're seeing now is like more natural stone kind of colors coming in and greens. So, and I've told you this, I've been watching, a lot of the paint. I think what you do is you watch trends around paint. And then that kind of shows you where some other trends are going to go, because that's what we're going to decorate our house with and all that kind of stuff. So, and I promise you, if you pay, I promise you they'll come back. Like we'll do natural colors for, or, like the yellow kind of creams and tans and stone colors for a while. And then, 20 years go by and they'll go, hey, they're back. Like everybody hated brass fixtures in their house in the 90s, and they're bringing, like, brass is coming back. This gold color is coming back. And they always change it a little way, but anyway. So I think what we're going to see, and everything reflects everybody else's kind of design patterns. Like if you're paying attention to the architectural world and the painting world and the fabric world, you're going to see kind of all those things kind of coalesce together and see the trends, right? And that's true. And those trends can like define a era. So like when you think of the 70s, like I really think of that avocado green and the golden harvest. And that was just a huge trend in everything from, we had my mom's refrigerator was avocado green. And honestly, I was at the paint store the other day, and I was like, I really like this artichoke green paint because I want to paint my bathroom. And so I'm like, it's coming back. So anyway, same thing with the 80s. I think you can look at the 50s. To me, the 50s are cherry red and turquoise. And a few years ago, I saw those very trending I thought there was one year, there was a specific Moda designer, I think, and I don't remember who it was, but like for 3 or 4 years, every one of her, patterns or lines came out were that cherry red and that turquoise, and I loved it. But it looked like 50s to me. It looked like 50. The patterns weren't, the colors were. So don't equate some of the. I don't think we can compartmentalize pattern or color to any decade, but it can remind us of those decades. And I don't think we can equate, compartmentalize any color that you can only use it in a reproduction quilt, or you can only use it in this kind of quilt. Like, really get that. That is so against my thought process when I look at color. I really want to look at color and pattern of how it's presented, and not necessarily how, like I don't look at a pattern and go, oh, it can only be used in this type of quilt. Like that just drives me a little crazy. So anyway, so if we look at this and we look at this, okay. So notice this has that melon in it, really close to that melon, which is kind of more this. This is a little bit darker, more corally, but it has it in it. But I noticed it had these greens and browns, and it's got a cream background. And I really felt like, okay, we need to look at more stone. And I took a class with Bill and Weeks Ringel, and they're the Modern Quilt Studio. And if you ever get to take a class from them, do it. Sign up as fast as possible. They're brilliant. They're the nicest people. And they also have just great color. And he spent a lot of time talking about edge. So he was like, this has a strong edge against this fabric because nothing blends into it. Whereas this is not as strong because when you see this, notice if I cut a piece of this and a piece of this, that this would blend in right here to this fabric, because that's close enough that your eye would not see an edge, where your eye sees an edge with this fabric all the time. And that will affect your quilting. It will affect how your eye is drawn to stuff. So, and that's really, honestly, if you look at modern quilts, that's really a lot of what they do is because they use solids traditionally, or A lot of them do. Not all of them, but a lot of them use a lot of solids. And so there's always an edge to where the quilt starts, or to where that piece starts and stops, right? So like the quilt behind me, like there's an edge. Let me go this way. So there's an edge right here between the cream and that teal. But the edge here is not as strong. It kind of blends into each other, even though this is a square that's pieced against this blue, right? Now the edge is stronger in our checkerboard, right? So that's what they're talking about when they're talking about edge. And it stops your eye and doesn't allow it to move as easily around the quilt. Whereas if it blends in, it's going to move a different way, right? So just take that into consideration when you're looking at what you're going to put where in a block, right? And sometimes I want edge, and sometimes I don't. Sometimes I don't want you to see exactly where that stops and starts, because is that an invitation for you then to come and look at it closer? And if that's an invitation, I think quilts, more than any other artwork, honestly, we view quilts at 3 different levels. We view quilts from 15 feet back, 5 feet in front, and right on top of it. And the reason we do that is because we look at the whole picture of what the quilt looks like. That's the 15 feet back. How does that, when I appraise a quilt, I want to have them hold it up in front of me. And I was taught this too. In fact, Gerald Roy told us when we were being tested, he said, if you do not ask for it to be held up in front of you and you look at the whole quilt in one viewing, standing back away from it, you are not appraising it. And you would not pass the test. So if you're in that program, you go in for your orals, have the quilt hauled up in front of you. Just do it. But we stand the 15 feet back and we kind of look at it and we look at the whole thing. How does my eye move? Can I look at this and I want to follow something? Am I following a path? Am I getting to an edge and stopping? And I know that there's a break there. So you want to look in. You're taking in the whole design of the quilt. Then as you come up closer, that's when you start noticing the piecing and how and this is judging as much as it is appraisals. But, when I'm appraising, I'm not judging your ability or the quilt maker's ability. I am noticing what they've presented to me. So sometimes I look at it and I'm like, their piecing wasn't precise. But sometimes it tells me how they pieced it as well. And that is something I take into consideration. So, like, for example, if I'm looking at a new quilt, as in something that has been made in the last, 10 years, and I'm looking at a new quilt, and it's this person's first quilt, and they may not have gotten all the skills to get their points perfect. That I know has been pieced on a machine or by hand, depends on, what I'm looking at. I can tell by the seam if it's by hand or machine. But I also am having to make an evaluation of, okay, how was this quilt made? So if the pieces are precise and the points are perfect and all that kind of stuff, that it doesn't say anything to the condition of it, but it could say this was paper pieced. Like I could look at a certain block and go, that's paper pieced because the precision is so good, right? And I'm not saying you don't get precision with machine piecing. You can, and you do. But paper piecing does have a reputation of getting precise, especially with really like strange angles or hard blocks that you're working on. But it's something you look at and take into consideration. Just, it's not a judgment. it's a take into consideration. Now, if I'm judging a quilt show, yes, it is a judgment. It's a judgment of this quilt maker compared to this quilt maker was more effective in how they pieced that quilt. And there's nothing wrong with either one. They're just different. Okay, so I wanted to pull a bunch of more like solid kind of taupey colors and kind of look at those according to our colors and see what you thought of that. So this one's kind of got a little green to it. It's a dot, so I kind of like the dot of this. But I thought we could look at a little brown, like a more brown taupey. I like this, I think, better than I liked that green, but that's a nice, if I'm looking for a strong edge, that's a pretty nice thing. And just so you know, this wool mat is gray. It's kind of got a gray background. This is a lighter gray against it. I'm not as attracted to grays, but there's a time and a place that you use every color. So this is really pretty, I think. Then what if we go darker? Look at that string. Do you like that dark with it? Let's set this over here. I think that brown, that's really pretty. It's a small dot too as well. I told you I don't buy a ton of solids, I found out in my research. Now this is it's a blue-gray, which I think looks better than that light gray. And then this is a lighter, I would almost say a green-gray. And look at that. I think it's just interesting to pull, fabric and kind of go, okay, what are you up against? And then look at that dark purple. This is a cave print. It's the Aboriginal dot circle thing that he does, which I just think that's neat. That's pretty. Okay. We'll put these back in here. Oh, right. Okay. I want to do, I guess I'll do this first. So this is one of those sets of, I told you, I get this group of fabric I think it's a quarter thing. It's not an every month thing from the Fat Quarter Shop, and it's all art gallery fabric. So you can tell this is art gallery fabric. It was just in a different set. I think all four of these are. No, all of these are. All of these are. But I thought I would pull this because I thought this set, when it came in, would look really good with some of these. And it's probably, now that I'm looking at it, they may be from the same line. So let me scoot this back, and then we'll look at these kind of up here like this. Okay, because I was going to undo each one. So I like this with it, this kind of gray green kind of color. That's a little light. I don't know that I love that with it. Ooh, that's kind of nice. It's a blue green. Kind of interesting. Of course, a check. How can you not do a check with? I think that's interesting. Maybe a little strong. I don't know. A unicorn. How can you not have a unicorn with a phoenix? That would be perfect. These may be a part of the same line. I don't know, because they're all art gallery. But I didn't even know I had this is the first time I've looked at these too. So, ooh. This is a black background with this mustard and this purple. And that is really, I'm liking that. That makes me happy. Because I like that I could have this as a background and just have these hits of those colors. Oh, yeah, that definitely looks good. It's kind of a gray-green again with the glasses. This is a navy, so definitely a part of this line. So the designers designed this to go with each other. Now, when I get these, this is a smaller check. When I get these from Art Gallery, they put it together, so it's not the same. These, that when they send them to me, it's not the same line. But I guess when I got the orange I think I got that in October, they pulled from the same lines when they sent it to me. This light, to me, this is the colors I wore in the 80s. Like this little green and that kind of tealy that coral, definitely. Oh, God, I love navy blue. I am in love. And I just told you earlier I don't have a lot of navy, but this is kind of a green navy, too. It's got a green tint to it with that green in there. But this, to me, looks perfect with this, definitely. More of a mint green. Yeah, I could do it. Maybe not my favorite, but I could do it. This is the same line. Gosh, that's the same line. But definitely looks good. Phoenix and Phoenix together. And then use that in there. Oh, I like this. I like this little wave thing. That's got a lot of potential. I wonder what I could do with that. Definitely. Oh, I can't wait to what I show you on Tuesday. I'm working on some stuff. Yes, I like this. That's a lot of print. That's a lot of print. When you look at it on screen, there's a lot going on in it, right? And this. What are those? Little keys? Bones. Oh, I think those are bones. Those are bones. They work. Not my jam, but they work. Okay. Oh, now I've just made a mess. Okay. The last thing I wanted to pull out was our black and whites. And I know we've looked at black and whites with every other one, so I kind of want to pull them out again because I do think Lane, like, wow, is that not pop? That really pops. Of course I love a polka dot. How do you not love a polka dot? I like that. Not my favorite. You know, I've not liked this print as much with other things. I think that's true. Definitely like that, definitely like that. But this print, I just don't love all the time. I've found that to be true. So, yeah, black and whites. Definitely wanted to look at how the black and whites look against these corals. Now, it's not that bad with this one. I think it's because this is white and this is white, whereas this is cream and this is white, and it just doesn't hit right for me. So pay attention. That's one thing you got to pay attention to a little bit. Sometimes when they do a print and in the gray good and it's not, the white isn't there, that's definitely a cream color that they worked on. So to me, this looks better here than it does here. See what I'm saying? Because that cream background with the black writing on it looks better here than here. Yeah, but I love it with all of them. Now these, because you've got this brown in it, I'm really liking with this and this. Like that to me is fantastic. Like that would be a fabulous block. Isn't that interesting? So you see, I know we've been doing colors for like 6 weeks now, but I just think it's interesting when we look at, the ice just did in my refrigerator. It just would crash. I just think it's interesting that we, see the colors up against different things and just maybe give you a different way to look at them, to think about them, to, see what that color actually means to you and whether you like it or not. Maybe the point of this exercise is to go, not my jam. I will never use this color ever. I didn't like it with anything you looked at. Or you'll go, oh my gosh, I never thought of using that color with navy. Or I never thought of using that color with XYZ. I don't know. So, or purple. Like, look, see, I still love that. That is just really pretty. I don't know, and the black and whites were really striking. Very striking. So anyway. So there we have it. It's Melon. Yay. Sorry it took me so long to get back to this, but we're back. Trying not to do too much, you know. Been sick and I'm still on some stuff, so try not to do too much, but I did want to come in and talk to you about the crayons again. So Tuesday we will draw our next crayon, our next color, and then I think Mike's going to come on Sunday. He told me we're going to do it Sunday. It'll probably be Sunday afternoon. You know what? I'm just going to make an executive decision. It'll be Sunday afternoon at 2 o'clock Eastern. I'll tell him. I'm like, at 2 o'clock Eastern, we're getting on. So we'll get on and we will just chat and maybe have a live question and answer kind of thing, because we can do that and see what you guys think. And so otherwise, y'all have a great day. Have a beautiful weekend. And we will talk to y'all later. Okay, bye.